pops on, singing to that highway song. Got a little naive smile, the kind that drives you out. Nothing like playing with fire, brings forward a life. Be the way to fuse your life, girl, you're dynamite. You made my day when you walked into town beside me, whispered with your eyes, let's go. You made me say, what's your name, girl, you're lonely. Can I call you if I ever go down?
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
14:20 in the morning, 14 minutes and 20 seconds worth of sports talk to get you through your daily commute. Hot takes, recaps, best bets, and a little humor to get your day going in the right direction. Sit back, grab your coffee, and let's get into it. All right, 14:20 in the morning for this 29th day of August, 2023. Today's show is brought to you by Caldera Lab and calderalab.com. Use promo code 1420LAB at calderalab.com for 20% off the best in men's skincare on the market out there to keep the fine lines and wrinkles and bags from underneath your eyes and protect your skin from these scorching hot temperatures we still got here in Southern Alberta, and there's all over the place anyways, but thanks to Caldera Lab. Remember, we are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to bellyupsports.com for all their great articles and other podcasts, such as the Corner Booth podcast, the Craft Brewed Sports podcast, which is on tonight. So I'm going to make sure I tune into that. I always do on Tuesday nights to see the boys there at Craft Brewed. And thank you for everybody who makes us a part of their day each and every day, whether it be in podcast form or in on YouTube or Facebook Live or whatever it might be. Wherever you listen, we're grateful no matter what. Anyways, 1 month left in the Major League Baseball season. It's getting crazy in the wild, wild west. One game separating the Texas Rangers, the Houston Astros, and the first place Seattle Mariners. It's going to be a crazy, interesting month to see how this all goes. The Mariners are they've come out of nowhere a little bit. They kind of turned into the team everybody thought they would be, but everybody thought the way the Rangers were flying, tearing the cover off the ball, team batting average of almost 280 at one point, 290. It was unbelievable what they were doing. Everybody thought they were going to be running away with the American League West. They had 146 out of 147 days this season. I think the stats I read this morning that they've been in first place at sole possession, but they're no longer in first place. The Seattle Mariners are there. It's crazy to think that the Houston Astros, you thought they would have been the team to run away with that. People seem to forget that they are still the defending World Series champions. So there is a bit of a pedigree there still with the Houston Astros. People thought that the West was going to be a Texas race between the Astros and the Rangers, but the way the Mariners are playing baseball right now, it is quite remarkable what's going on there in the Pacific Northwest with the Seattle Mariners at T-Mobile Park. I was going to say Safeco, but it's T-Mobile Park, and they're having a great run right now the way they're playing baseball. The Texas Rangers, it's quite strange the way things have turned out for them, the way they were hitting the ball, but they went and got the Scherzer acquisition has been good for them. Obviously, he's been 3-1 or 4-1 in his 5 starts with the Rangers. He's been good enough, but they losing a guy like Nathan Eovaldi hasn't helped them. He's been a Cy Young guy. Nathan Eovaldi and his 12 Tommy John surgeries over the years has been quite the situation there in Texas. They just can't get out of their own way. They have a major problem right now in their closing position. They went out and got Aroldis Chapman, and every Yankee fan knows that Aroldis Chapman isn't the guy to be closing out baseball games at this point of his career. He was doing great, obviously, with the Kansas City Royals in no win or in a who cares kind of a situation there. But now you have a team that's the pressure's on, and Chapman sweating through his ball cap in the heat of Texas. It probably isn't very good for him to be in that kind of a position, to have that kind of a situation where he is the guy to try to hold the bullpen down and hold the games in. They have funny. I read earlier on today. They have a situation where they have actually more blown saves than converted saves over the season, 24-25. And they actually blew 2 save opportunities one game last week to show you what their bullpen's like. They have problems coming out of the bullpen, and no matter what, when you have let's go back to the Mariano days with the Yankees, when you can shorten your game up, and now the way that the pitching staffs are constructed to just burn outs or anything else. Now you're trying to burn more outs than you got, and you don't have a chance to get those last 3 outs or 6 outs, and you're scared to go to those guys. It makes it tough for Bruce Bochy to get games done and to have a situation. I don't know if I would be too concerned as a Texas Rangers fan, because in general losing streaks happen, not like this, 2-8 in their last 10, whatever it is, but they didn't have a record where they are right now for being a bad baseball team. Losing streaks happen, winning streaks happen. It's just a matter of when those streaks happen and how you deal with them. You look at a winning streak like the Tampa Bay Rays had, how their season has actually kind of just gone basically 500 ever since, but you get that big stretch where they had a bunch of games. You're going to have winning streaks and losing streaks, but everybody plays around 500 to 600 baseball, and you have yourself a situation where you're in a playoff spot right now as it is. The Houston Astros, they're another team that's kind of surprising. People do, like I said earlier, they do forget that they were the World Series champion. They're still to be the man, you got to beat the man, and they have a team right now where they went and got Justin Verlander at the deadline, and he's been unbelievable for them. 3-1, 4-1 in his 5 starts there for the Rangers, a sub 3 ERA. So that's kind of what Dusty Baker ordered for them last night. Jose Altuve, he got himself hit, little prick. He got himself a cycle last night. So it's one of those things where the Houston Astros they're going to stick around. They know how to win. They've been there before, been there, done that. Whether you like how they did it back in 2017 or in 2019, everything else, whether you like how it was done, it doesn't much matter. They did it, and they did it with their I've forgiven, but I'll never forget, one of those things, right? So yeah, you wonder how it's all going to pan out. The Seattle Mariners are a whole different ball club right now. The way they're playing baseball, the way that Julio Rodriguez has been the guy, 13-game hitting streak, home runs his last 3 games. I think 4 of his last 5 games or 5 out of his last 10 games, he's had 4+ hits in those games. It's quite remarkable to see a guy that they put a lot of money into him. People weren't exactly sure how it was going to go, but they put a lot of money into the guy, and he's been everything that's been advertised. They have a great pitching staff. Luis Castillo, who they got from the Reds last year, who everybody was trying to get at the trade deadline last year from the Reds. He's been everything that as advertised, and he's been really, really solid. He's been the head of their pitching staff. Adding Logan Grant, he's been unbelievable for Scott Service. It's been an unbelievable pitching staff, an unbelievable run for the Seattle Mariners that people didn't think was going to happen. But the thing is with the Mariners, people kind of wrote them off a little bit, but everybody had them kind of being a playoff team last year. Remember, they went to playoffs last year, first time in about 20 years. I think it was the first time they went around in 20 plus years. And people were a little disappointed with the Seattle Mariners, but it turns out you are who your record says you are, and you get it. You start winning a few games here and there, and you start getting healthy. You get some guys hitting the ball. Cal Raleigh, their catcher, he got 25 home runs, the most by a catcher in Major League Baseball right now. So that doesn't hurt, getting production from the catching position. Doesn't happen very often anymore. The guy in Baltimore, Rushman, there, he's doing that, and you see what their baseball team is. But a lot of teams don't get a lot of production from their catcher. Teams are usually built up the middle, right? And your starts at your catcher. If you're getting production out of your catcher, it can only help. But Julio Rodriguez has been the guy, unbelievable. Like I said, 13-game hitting streak. He's tearing the cover off the ball. He's been everything as advertised. Plays great defense out there in Seattle, and he's the kind of guy that you want to build your team around. And the Mariners are doing it, and they're winning. They're getting huge crowds. Last night, 37,000 plus, one of the largest crowds in Mariners history at T-Mobile Park. So the people of Seattle, they really get behind their team. And when teams are winning, people want to go, right? It's one of those things. It's that between season thing for the football right now, but you'll see the people of Seattle really getting out there to support that team throughout the rest of the season and beyond. Speaking of the rest of the season, it's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out moving forward here, because the last 10 games of the season, the Mariners have 3 on the road with Texas. Then they got 3 at home versus Houston, and then 4 to finish it off with the Texas Rangers as well. So their last 10 games are with who they're battling for the division, and it might not even be for the division spot. It might only be that's it, because of the way the wild card standings are heating up a little bit too. So you don't know, like the Rangers might find themselves out of it. The Seattle Mariners might find themselves out of it, or the Houston Astros might find themselves out. So you got, basically 2 spots for 3 teams, maybe. And it's just the way it always turns out. So winning these games right now are very important. It's going to come down to who's got who and who's got what, and who's going to play the Oakland A's more, and who's going to play the Kansas City Royals more, because those are the bottom feeders of baseball, obviously. And that's who's going to decide who wins leads the American League West. The Wild Wild West should be a entertaining thing to watch. Bullpens are going to come down to it. Who has the stronger starting pitching? Who can stay healthy? As always, it's really interesting to see how two guys who started pitching for the two elderly gentlemen. I shouldn't say elderly; they're both younger than me. But you have two guys who were started in the National League East with the New York Metropolitans in Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander. Might come down to those two in the last week of the season to see who goes to playoffs in the American League West. It's crazy the way that trade deadline worked out for the Mets. They've been the Mets. The Mets are the Mets. And it's crazy the way that those two guys just didn't work out with the Mets and how it all is. They are now in the American League West on different ball clubs, and they're going to be the ones that are going to decide who goes on to the playoffs and beyond. It's going to be an interesting finish. It's going to be fun to watch. The Wild Wild West is going to be great. Hopefully it comes down to the last game of the season. Hopefully some of the other races pick up a little bit too. That Milwaukee Brewers team is really, really good too. They I think they've won 9 in a row, and they've kind of opened up a little bit of a lead on the Chicago Cubs, and we'll talk about them tomorrow. And they got problems with their ballpark, and they're saying that they might move quite soon if they don't get what they want. They'll get what they want. It's always just a ploy by the ownership groups of all these teams. There's a lot of teams that are bantering about right now about moving and changing the stadiums. And the Arizona Diamondbacks is another one that they said it would be cheaper for them to rebuild a new stadium than revamp their old one. It's only 24 years old, whatever it is. So it's odd to see how this is all going to turn out with these baseball teams. But back to Wild Wild West. I'm going to stick with Seattle. I'm going to stick with my guns with Seattle. I'm going to stick with my guns saying that Shohei Ohtani, now that he's not going to probably pitch anymore, he's still going to be going to Seattle. I'll stick with my guns. That's been my prediction for quite some time. It's kind of funny. Jim, a fan of the Ven, when he was on our Yankee bashing show a couple of weeks ago, Jim Plotner, a fan of the Ven podcast, he said that the Texas Rangers were his pick to win the World Series, and they've been awful ever since. So maybe Jim should keep his prognostications down low, because that seems like the kiss of death came from old Jim and his cigar coming out of his yap there. So it should be interesting to see how it all pans out in the American League West. But anyways, here is a little, that's my rant for the day for 14:20 in the morning on this 29th day of August. Here is a little word from our sponsors at Caldera Lab. Summer is heating up, and as the sun shines brighter, your skin deserves the utmost attention. Fortunately, our friends at Caldera Lab are here to ensure your skin is well prepared for the season ahead. Ever since I incorporated Caldera Lab into my routine, taking care of my skin has never been simpler. Their products are clinically proven and help visibly reduce wrinkles, fine lines, and signs of aging. Confidence in an impeccable first impression this summer will abound, but so don't miss out on joining the skincare revolution trusted by countless men. Use promo code 1420LAB at calderalab.com to enjoy an exclusive 20% off their finest products. Caldera Lab creates high-performance men's skincare products, and the regimen leads off their product lineup, a twice-a-day routine to transform your skin. Inside the bundle, you'll find the clean slate, the base layer, and the good. Caldera Lab is made with top-tier ingredients and is a great addition to your daily routine, taking less than a minute, morning and night, to help reduce wrinkles, fine lines, and signs of aging. Avoid being the butt of everyone's joke around the pool this summer and take this leap to skin royalty by using Caldera Lab. And once again, get 20% off with our code 1420LAB at calderalab.com. That's 20% off at calderalab.com by using promo code 1420LAB. Elevate your skincare today by going to Caldera Labs. It really, really works, gentlemen. It really, really works. Give it a shot this summer. Anyways, so let's get to birthdays, get you guys out of here. On this day in 1982, Kansas City Royal great George Brett recorded his 1,500th career hit in the Royal 7-4 win over the Chicago White Sox at Comiskey Park in Chicago, Illinois. Brett went 3 for 4 in the game, including a 7th-inning home run off Lamar Hoyt. Brett would finish his career with 3,154 hits, playing in 21 big league seasons, all with the Royals before retiring to 1993. George Brett was inducted to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1999. More so known for the pine tar incident when he freaked out on the umpire at Yankee Stadium there. Billy Martin called him for the pine tar bat and the whole thing. That's George Brett, one of the funniest YouTube videos of all time, talking about the night he crapped his pants in Las Vegas eating crab legs or something. So on this day in baseball history. George Brett hit career hit number 1500 in 1982. And happy 31st birthday to recently DFA'd pitcher, not such a happy birthday, pitcher Noah Syndergaard, born on this day in Mansfield, Texas. Syndergaard was drafted in the first round of the 2010 Major League Draft by the Toronto Blue Jays and was traded to New York Mets as part of the R.A. Dickey trade in 2012. Syndergaard pitched in parts of 6 seasons for the Mets, including but just never really got it going with like his career. A lot of injuries happened. Injuries take a toll on his last couple of years, and but he played stops with Anaheim, the Phillies, the Angels, and most recently with Cleveland, where he pitched once or twice and got let go this week. So happy birthday, and hope things up. He'll probably get picked up for a spot start here and there or something coming out of the bullpen. You just never know, because you can never have enough arms come this time of the year, and they'll find a place for Syndergaard to pitch. And he was touted, him and DeGrom were touted to be such great pitchers, and it just never really panned out with them. Just playing in New York can be tough, but happy birthday anyways to Noah Syndergaard. Here it is. There's 14:20 in the morning, brought to you by Caldera Lab. Make sure you go and check out their skincare product. Get the base layer. It's really good stuff. Anyways, thanks for listening to the show here on what are we on Tuesday afternoon? And no, it's been great once again. And the show being dated last night, it's up there right now. So make sure you listen to all that. Listen to past shows. Talk to people about the show. Blah blah blah. You guys know the drill. Subscribe to our YouTube channel while you're at it. But anyways, remember, that's it. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow morning. And remember, it doesn't matter where you are. It's who you're with. Have a good day, folks. We'll talk to you tomorrow. You just listened to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer with sports talk and a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Media Network.